Welcome to Overthrow Media, your best place for politics, hip-hop, and life. It is Big Villainous, your comment revolutionary, dope-ass MC, and international sex symbol. Today, we're going to be talking about Voosh, and if he's a fucking Nazi or not. We come right back.
Shifting sands like Chronos, holding morbid golden. I see ghosts, just ghosts. Tipping hands of madmen, molding moldy corpses. I see ghosts, just ghosts.
So, as I'm sure a lot of you have heard, there's been some more drama with the Voosh character. This Voosh character who's scared to debate my ass, by the way. We want a little smoke, so it's time for a smoke session. You know what I mean? I can't talk about this fool without like smoking. This nigga's annoying and stressful and low-key, probably a white supremacist. So I apologize, there's a lot of traffic going on out here, but it is what it is. Y'all wondered why I'm saying probably undercover Nazi, huh? Well, you just gotta track motherfuckers' behavior. And one thing I think people who are his fans don't want to look at is how liberals are so complacent to Nazism, right? To the point that they can be converted and they convert other liberals. So if you follow the track record of Voosh's behavior and of his actions and what he spoke on and what he's talked about and how he's addressed certain situations, you see he has a pattern of regurgitating white supremacist 88 type rhetoric. For those who don't understand the significance of 88, it is a white supremacist number that means Hail Hitler, HH. So he has a lot of these traits, right? So I remember when he's talking to Professor Flowers, right? He started talking about white genocide. If people decolonize, they might commit genocide against white people.
So taking it back from the colonizers, I wince because what you're doing is you're taking harm done to a racial group and assigning it moral validity by addressing them as though they had individually committed the crimes you're associating them with, you know? And I hit a grievous issue with that.
Wait, by taking your power back, you mean selectively stripping power from another ethnic group?
The people who colonized you.
Yeah.
The ethnic group that colonized you. That context is a little important, right?
It functionally isn't. You keep essentially implying that it's okay to engage in retribution. If you've been colonized, you have the right.
It's not retribution, it's literally trying to have your own self-determination.
Not only does that fall into the classic fear of retribution, but the argument of white genocide comes from the argument of the Great Replacement. The Great Replacement is an ideology that is put forward by multiple white supremacist groups like the neo-Nazis, the Hammerheads, Northwest Front, Stormfront. All these different organizations are really out there advocating that to stoke fears among those of the European descent. Talking about the destruction of a white culture, of the white people. Talk about how they'll be deported and how pretty much will be treated the same way they treated the black and brown folks. It is based off of acting as if whiteness is actually a real thing, which will be discussed in another video, but it's not. It is a caste that is created. It is not an ethnic identity. Yet he uses that to stoke fears among liberals, which to me equivocates to recruiting people to neo-Nazi organizations. And how, you may ask? If it doesn't out and out convert them, what it does is it weakens their resolve against it. It allows them to absorb those ideologies as if they are true. But we know they're not true. They're not any basis of reality around those things. However, it is something that is used as a signal to unify those of white supremacy, those who wish to further the white race into global domination. Because if they're afraid that they're about to lose their lives, their culture, or whatever else, there is no such thing as white culture. I'll explain a little bit more. The reason I say there's no such thing as white culture is white culture is nothing but baseball and hot dogs. It is capitalism, consumerism. It is not based off of actual culture. In reality, white folks, European folks, traded off their identities to become white in America. It's an American construct, a political social construct that was made to be able to empower the wealthy and further divide the working class. The working class already sees so many divisions. based off the fact that we come from different cultural backgrounds and different continents for the most part in this so-called melting pot. Then we also see Voosh trying to portray black people being more violent and committing more crimes. Black and black crime is part of the problem, according to him. Another white supremacist talking point, along with welfare queens, that dehumanizes the black community. He perpetuated that. He talks about how he debates Nazis, understanding their plight and struggle.
I understand the concerns of neo-Nazis.
I understand the concerns of neo-Nazis.
And how he changed them. But if he was ever liberal, I would argue that they've changed him. Not to mention how I already talked about him being in criminology in my last video about this fool and his disrespectful ass. We further see him start to justify the Nazis, slowly but surely, as he moved into the debate with non-compete. Which was supposed to be a conversation, of course, not a debate, but you know how Voosh does it. He found it completely appropriate to demean Luna Oi, based off her ethnic background, while arguing that he would never do it to Ben Shapiro. You mean Ben Shapiro, the white supremacist, you won't do it to, but you happen to find it perfectly appropriate to do it to Luna Oi, a woman of color, or to Professor Flowers, another person of color. You had no problem whatsoever demeaning them, disrespecting them. Sounds like white supremacist patriarchy says you won't do it to a white man who happens to have a Jewish background. Now, should you do it to him? Either no, not based off race. There's plenty of reasons to go Ben Shapiro's weak ass, corny, stupid, dumb ass motherfucker. But his lineage, no. But how come you find it okay to do to a woman of color what you'd never do to a white man? You said you had no problem with the vitriol, and whatever, don't have a problem with the vitriol. But you absolutely lied when you said that you would never take it to racial backgrounds. I think that only applies when you are talking about a white person like Ben Shapiro, a right winger. You would never, but a leftist woman of color at that, you would absolutely be racist towards. But you'd never be racist towards Ben. And it's interesting because you said you'd never be anti-Semitic, specifically referring to Ben Shapiro. But you had no problem, Voosh, no problem going down the route of justifying the genocide of the Jewish people in World War II. You really said that, well, the Jews did have more bangers, and that's why the genocide happened. So isn't that justified?
How can you tell?
Because Jews don't actually control banks in the world.
There was a disproportionate number of Jewish control of banks in Germany during the Weimar Republic.
All right, Vaush, we're done here. Thank you. Goodbye. This is, that's all I need to hear.
You don't have an ethical... Oh.
You literally went down that route. Yes, I know at the end of it, though I wasn't watching yours, but I went back and looked, you tried to minimize it. Well, dismissing the ideas of perpetrating false consciousness, how you maneuver and how the Nazis maneuver. Because if you perpetrate false consciousness, it leans towards fascism, like you do. And that's the same thing that caused the Holocaust. Then what does that make you? So I see your interest in trying to deny that, but I feel like you have a bigger one. To me, it's seeming that to be 100, bruh, you are actively advocating white supremacist ideologies to secretly pull people over to the alt-right. I definitely think you're undercover. I can't prove it. It's facts, I can't prove it. But if you track behavior, right? If you track how you compared people of color trying to liberate themselves to Nazism, claiming white genocide, that goes straight down the lines of recruiting white supremacists, recruiting them into that ranks from the liberals. You know, anybody who takes a second to look at the liberals, these so-called American leftists that like to vote blue and shit. These former Bernie bots turned Democratic Party operatives, you see they hold a lot of eugenicist thought processes, a lot of fascist thought processes, but viewed through a different lens. They don't despise the right and Trump supporters because they despise racism, but they despise being seen as racists. So you wrap fascism in a bow and hand it to them in a way that they can feel like they're not being racist, that they will soon or later be able to justify committing genocide to protect their people from a fictitious threat. You are laying that foundation. And whether you're doing that intentionally, like I suggest, or unintentionally and just have ego like non-compete suggests, it really doesn't matter, brother. Because the interest you play and the things you are pushing forward is white supremacist rhetoric, is the ideology of fascism. But you try to deny it, though you call black people in the 60s racist for crossing the street to not get lynched by white people. Though you say the aboriginals hiding their children. The fuck?
Can you smell the circus
joint? Is unjustified from hiding it from white people, despite the last history, and it's a racist thing. Oh wait, no, you said justified racism. I forgot justified racism, but it's racist, right? The logic of that mentality only serves one thing: white supremacy, bro. And I'm getting tired of your pity party bullshit where you try to paint yourself as a victim. Man, at least try to be stand-up motherfucker and be like, hey, I'm making these claims, not claim victim after people call you out on your bullshit. Stand on your shit, you chump. Speaking of chump shit, why haven't you debated me yet? I'm still out here waiting, bruh. Man, and we can get some boxing gloves too. Let's do some like YouTube boxing shit. You know how they have hip hop fights and shit, the celebrity boxing matches? Yeah, YouTube boxing matches. Let's go, bro. I really do think that you undercover, bro. And it's just a little challenge. Prove me wrong. Come debate me. Defend yourself. Stand up for your ideology and show that you're not supporting white supremacists. Address the things. Don't run from them like you like to do. Address the things you said. Try to make it make sense. I know you like to say people clip chipping you. Well, let's see. Let's find out if it's really clip chipping. Actually, bring the in context too. We can play the in context conversations in sizable chunks so you know it's not out of context. Your whole little thought, and we'll discuss it. How about that? I made a whole second video on your stupid ass, bruh. Well, I'm serious, man. My blunt's almost gone, man, so I'm almost out to smoke. But to his fans, first off, I got some motherfucking mini vaushes for sale. You can peep right over here. You know, if you water them, they don't grow, but they're a little cute. You know, they run around and they yap and talk a bunch of bullshit. So if you wanna buy one of your own miniature vaushes, you can contribute $19.99 to my Patreon, and you'll get your own personal miniature vaush that you can take home and cuddle with and love up on all you want. But I suggest you actually reevaluate being a fan of someone who's pushing you towards white supremacy. That's just me though. I blunt one out. I guess I'm out of smoke. For now. Anyways, for all those who know what time it is and ain't gonna follow Voosh like a motherfucking drone, you can go ahead and hit that like button, hit the bell, subscribe, and do me a solid. You know what I'm out here doing. I'm out here trying to organize abolition and actual movement in the streets so we can get free. You feel me? So if you can share this video as widely as possible, or even better, some of my more educational videos and music, that would really help build the infrastructure that I need to make a real difference as an individual as well as within my collective. Also, if you feel like it, you also can go ahead and hit my Patreon. You know, All my social medias, besides this one, is villainous_music. And you know, this is Overthrow Media. We out.
Walking through the crease and the cracks of the streets, struggling for some food and a bed to sleep, while trying to cause overthrow. I'm feeling weak, ideology buff.
Yo, because of this traffic, this is gonna be the most painful ass edit ever. Damn, bruh. It's dark out here. You can't even see the bushes no more. Luckily, I rolled tight ass blunts, so that worked out. Yo, because of this traffic, this is gonna be the most painful ass edit ever. It's at the 25-minute point. The 25-minute point to what's probably gonna be like a 7-8 minute video.